There was once a young woman named Mira who lived in a small village surrounded by fields and forests. From the outside, Mira was just like any other 22-year-old, hopeful, hardworking, and kind. But inside, she was trapped in a storm of self-doubt. No matter what she did, a small voice inside her head kept whispering, "You're not good enough. You'll fail anyway. Why even try?" She had always loved painting since childhood. Her little room was full of sketches and color-stained canvases. Her dream? To one day hold her own art exhibition in a big city gallery. But every time she thought about it, fear would freeze her. What if they laugh at my work? I don't even have a proper degree. I'm just a village girl. Who do I think I am? So, Mira did what most of us do when self-doubt takes over. She hid her dreams in a dusty box and got busy with life. One day, a famous painter named Mr. Ahuja visited her village to conduct a workshop. Mira's best friend, Ria, knew how talented Mira was and forced her to attend the workshop. "Just show one of your paintings," Ria insisted. "What's the worst that could happen?" Mira hesitated. Her hands trembled as she carried her favorite piece, a painting of a little bird trying to fly despite its broken wing. It was more than just a painting. It was her story. At the workshop, Mr. Ahuja walked around, nodding at sketches, giving suggestions, until he reached Mira's painting. He stood silent for a few seconds, eyes fixed. Then he smiled. This is raw, honest, painful, beautiful." Mira's eyes widened. "You really think so?" He looked at her gently. "Tell me, do you think so?" She couldn't answer, because truth was she didn't know. Her self-doubt had become so loud, she couldn't hear her own voice anymore. That night, Mira sat quietly near the pond behind her house. The moonlight shimmered on the water, and the wind carried soft, rustling sounds. She thought about her childhood, how she'd draw on walls with charcoal, how her father once gave her a box of crayons when she was 5 and said, "Color your world, Mira." But somewhere between growing up and growing scared, she had stopped coloring her world. Tears welled up. She whispered to herself, "Why do I always feel I'm not enough?" And then something inside her replied, "Because you believe that voice of fear more than the voice of truth." That night was a turning point. Over the next few months, Mira began painting again. Not for exhibitions, not for praise, but for herself, for healing, for expression. She shared her art on social media, one piece at a time. At first, just a few likes, then comments, then shares. People started connecting with her vulnerable, emotional art. One day, she got an email. "Dear Mira, I'm the curator at Dream Frame Art Gallery, Mumbai. We came across your work online. We'd be honored to host your solo exhibition. Let us know if you're interested." She stared at the screen for 5 minutes. Her heart pounded. Then that old voice crept in again. "What if you mess it up? What if no one comes?" But this time, a stronger voice responded. "What if you fly?" 6 months later, Mira stood in a brightly lit gallery in Mumbai. Her paintings hung on pristine white walls. Strangers walked in, admired her art, and some even cried in front of her work. One woman held Mira's hand and said, "You're painting about self-doubt, the girl with the shattered mirror. It's like you painted my story." Mira smiled with moist eyes, because for the first time in her life, she felt seen. Not for who people wanted her to be, but for who she truly was. Imperfect, vulnerable, but real. Self-doubt is like a shadow. It follows you, grows bigger in the dark, and whispers lies. But you're not your doubt. You're the light that creates the shadow. You're the courage that keeps going even when afraid. You're the artist of your own life. And just like Mira, you too can rise. Not because you have no fear, but because you choose to believe in something stronger. Yourself. Moral of the story. Everyone hears the voice of self-doubt, but not everyone listens. You are more capable, more worthy, and more powerful than you think. Start before you're ready. Speak even if your voice shakes. Create even if your hands tremble. Because the world needs what only you can bring.